We've made a lot of progress, but I ask all West Virginians to continue to be patient as we work to safely restore service to the affected areas.
Almost 6 days after a chemical leak left 300,000 West Virginians without drinkable tap water, life is slowly starting to return to normal. Most parts of 9 counties that received water contaminated by thousands of gallons of a chemical used in the coal industry still can't use their tap water. But close to 25,000 customers were able to flush unsafe water out of their homes and businesses.
We've collected 692 samples to date. We have analyzed 264. We believe that it is appropriate, in conjunction with public health and the West Virginia American Water Company, to begin to lift the ban by zone.
As much as 7,500 gallons of crude MCHM leaked Thursday morning from an inch-sized hole in a storage tank near the Elk River. Officials with the State Department of Environmental Protection say cleanup at the site, owned by Freedom Industries, is going well. That allowed several areas in and near Charleston to start the flushing process.
Zones have been established based on the flow of water from the treatment plant throughout the system. If all the customers in the entire system, or even in small zones, opened all their taps at the same time, they could use 10 to 20 times the water that we can produce in a day. They will affect critical health infrastructure, and they could have a deleterious effect on our industry in the area that not only need water quality, they need water pressure.
An interactive map shows areas that are safe to start flushing. Red means don't flush. Blue means flush away. Officials created a detailed flushing procedure. First, turn on all hot water taps for 15 minutes. Next, turn on all cold water taps for 5 minutes. Then, turn on all remaining taps. It could be several more days until customers living on the outskirts of the 1,700-mile pipeline network can start the process themselves. But there's no shortage of uncontaminated water. Officials say about 3 million liters of water was trucked in from Maryland. The American Red Cross and Kanawha County Emergency Ambulance Authority have distributed water and food to residents in rural areas and to senior citizens in Charleston.
As of yesterday, we had 74 volunteers and staff members working in relation with the emergency response teams, and then we've ourselves distributed 122,000 bottles of water.
Other water distribution centers across the affected area remain open. Health concerns persist. 14 people have been admitted to area hospitals, and another 231 were treated in 10 different emergency rooms, said the head of the state's Department of Health and Human Resources. Local businesses are also suffering from the ill effects of the spill.
West Virginia's GDP is about $55 billion a year. The Charleston MSA represents about $13 billion of that, so that's over the course of the year. You could extrapolate from that and say that about $30 million every day of GDP is generated from the Charleston MSA. What that means for businesses is, obviously loss of revenue. It was particularly detrimental for locally owned restaurants and hotels that are businesses that specifically rely on a lot of water and water that's consumed.
Several state and federal investigations are underway. At the same time, Governor Earl Ray Tomblin and other state and local leaders are looking into possible changes to state law and regulations.
My concern is how to prevent it in the future. I would be surprised if there wasn't sweeping legislation to regulate these storage tanks.
After a brief and criticized press conference from Freedom Industries President Gary Southern, no one from the company has made a public statement.